Hey there, welcome back to my studio. As most of you know, or if you don't know, I am a big horse girl. I have 2 horses of my own and 2 donkeys, so I love horses. I grew up watching and reading a lot of horse media like Black Beauty and Warhorse and other things. Oh, also Spirit. So today I thought I would rank the cartoon horses in media. I am not going to be including any live action horses. I thought that could be a fun separate thing, and also I feel like it would be unfair to the cartoon horses because there's a lot of good live action horses. I also will not be including any horses that have live action counterparts, so I'm not going to be including like cartoon Shadowfax or cartoon Black Beauty. So I will be including horses from TV shows and movies, but I'm not going to be doing every single little horse because I think it would be here all day for horses that no one either knows or remembers. So without further ado, let us rank the horses of cartoon media. So starting out, we've got Angus from the movie Brave. So when I was researching for the cartoon horses, because I wanted to kind of get an organized list, Angus didn't come up on like any list, not even like the top 50 horses in cartoon media. I don't know why people just forgot Angus existed, even though Angus was like Merida's best friend. I thought he was cute. I like the draftier horses. I think his little white stripe on his head is cute. I thought he was a good guy. I will say his personality is kind of flat. He's more of a realistic horse with some more doggish tendencies, like being overly loyal to a human. So he loses some points there because I don't think he stands out as his own being much other than being really loyal and a bit skittish. So for being just beautiful and a good guy, we're gonna put him in B. I feel like B. I feel like C, he'd need to have a little less traits or something, but he's not quite A because he's not really like standing out much, but I do love him. So next up we have a heavy hitter, Spirit from Spirit Style and the Cimarron, named after him. This is an obvious S. I'm just gonna go ahead and put him there. He is an amazing character. The Matt Damon voice was perfect. He won't let anyone ride him. He's too free-spirited. He has like the coolest name ever. He was Spirit who cannot be tamed or whatever. Great design. Beautiful buckskin animation by the incredible James Baxter. I love this movie. I think it's one of the best children's movies of the early 2000s. And S all the way. How could he not be an S? He can regrow his mane in less than a season. You know, can't be any less than S. Moving on, we have Altivo from Road to El Dorado. Altivo is a great horse. He has a great design. I love the way they drew him. He's very expressive. He is much a part of the trio that the humans are in. He even voices the, El Dorado or whatever whenever they're kind of coming in on the boat. I think he is a great third character who is not a human, and I love his long mane that's kind of curls at the end. He's a great character. I'm gonna go ahead and put him up in the S tier as well. Next is another infamous character of more recent times, Bojack from Bojack Horseman. Bojack's complicated because I love his design. I really like the way the world is built out in this show. Obviously, I just love horses in general, so that's kind of a moot point for this ranking thing. The problem with Bojack compared to some of these is he has human traits and he talks and acts like a human, so now my basis is going to negatively impact him because he has human follies. So he's an alcoholic, he is a dick, he's very toxic. He, you know, kind of grows in the end and gets what's coming to him and whatever, but I guess if I'm going based on my pure feeling, I think he is a well-written character. I really like his design. If I lived in that world, I would avoid him like the plague. So I'm gonna go ahead and put him in the A tier. He's not a good person, but because he's a well-written character with a good design, I think that deserves an A. He will never be S because he is a terrible person. So, do what you want with that. Next is Maria from the Unicorn Wars. This is a movie a lot of you probably have not seen, but if you haven't, you should see it. Unicorn Wars is a very beautifully animated film and has an interesting story about religion and warfare and things like that with cute cuddly animals. But Maria is the main unicorn in that movie. Her design, all the unicorns in this movie are black. I think the design is decent. It's very mysterious. I like the glowing eyes. She's just a child, but she has some, she's a very open to experiences type. She is very forgiving of the bears. So, you know, she's not standing out, but she's not terrible. I'm gonna go ahead and put her in B. Next up, we have the unicorn from The Last Unicorn. I know she has a name as a person, but I'm just gonna call her the unicorn because as a unicorn, she doesn't have a name. She's fine. She's a mysterious beast. She has a cool design, very 80s, very fantasy. I think she's very iconic amongst children and adults alike. I think she's very much a quintessential unicorn design. I love the like more tufty tail design instead of just the horse tail design. Makes her very mystical. Not much to say. I'm gonna give her A. Don't think she's quite S because as a human, she's kind of a dumb bitch. Not really, I don't know. I saw it recently, but I don't remember. Next up's a horse I'm not super familiar with, but I watched some clips to get kind of in the zone because I know this is gonna be a popular horse girl horse. But this is Scarlet from a show called Horseland, and Scarlet is the main character's horse, so I figured Scarlet's probably a safe bet to go with. And I think this design choice is ugly personally, but I think it's a good design choice for children, where it's like each horse is a very distinguished color and they all have highlights in their hair like Bratz dolls or something. But that lets children latch onto them. It's kind of like the Sonic thing where it's like, oh, this is the color and personality I like, so they're the my horse that I chose. So I can't say it's technically a bad design, but she seems like a very basic horse. She's like the main character horse where it's like, I'm just hardworking and I always want to try, but there's not much else going on about me. So for that, I'm just gonna put her in C. I just don't like her. If you watched Horseland, I'm sorry. She's just kind of basic. Boring, not terrible, just not great. Next up is a horse that a lot of people should know from modern media, but it is Maximus from Tangled. He is a Royal Guard horse and he has a lot of personality and he's a main character in the movie Tangled as he pursues Flynn or whatever. He's very dog-like. He's kind of a narc because he's with the Royal Palace. He does switch sides at the end, but I found him to be kind of annoying. I do like his design though. He's a gray horse and I have a gray horse, so I have to give him points there. I'm gonna go ahead and give Maximus put him in B because he's a narc and he's a bit too gung-ho. He needs to chill a little bit. Next up is the Pegasus from Fantasia. I chose them because I just remember them so vividly. I loved that segment of Fantasia when they're all flying around. Again, it appeals to that thing where it's like they each have their own little color. I love that they all lived in a nest. I thought that was a cute detail. Fantasia Pegasus are easily, without effort, S tier. I'm sorry. They didn't need to do much to be there. Now we have Khan from Mulan. Khan is a beautiful, beautiful example of the kind of horses that were ridden back in that era in China. He is a good man, he is loyal, he is everything we want in a horse. Big body, tiny feet, always being a badass, running into war, doing anything for Mulan, but not in a simping way. He has honor, he has dignity, and we love Khan. Khan is S for sure. Next up, this is Fred from Over the Garden Wall. I love Over the Garden Wall. It's that time of year, it's fall. It's a little past the Halloween part of it, but you can still watch it into November. Fred is in 2 episodes. He is a talking horse that loves to steal things, but by the end, he learns that having a job is better than stealing. I like Fred's design. I think his jokes are a little silly. I'm gonna put him in B. Doesn't stand out too much, but he's enough that I love him. Another iconic legend is Frou from Aristocats. She is a working horse for a rich family, so she's very lucky because this rich family actually seems to treat her right. And I liked her little hat. I liked that she got along with the cats. She's a real G, helping out the cats whenever they were getting messed with or whatever. So Frou is a good woman, but where does Frou belong? I feel like she's probably has to go with A. I feel like B is kind of filling up with like not too outstanding, but not too bad. I think Frou deserves an A just because, I don't know, I just remember as a child loving her hat. I just remember the hat. I was like, man, that horse is wearing a fucking hat, and she's wearing it well. Next up, this circles back to Spirit in a way. This is James Baxter from Adventure Time. He is animated by James Baxter, which is why his name is James Baxter. I know in Adventure Time he like looks around a room and he's trying to say words, but it comes out as James Baxter. So this is James Baxter, the horse. I think it's really cool that he animated for Adventure Time and did a horse. He's known for animating horses, which are very difficult to animate. And James Baxter is easily an A. I don't think he's an S because he's not that iconic to me, but I do love him. I appreciate the lore. Next up is Bullseye from Toy Story. He is Woody's horse. He is a toy horse. He acts a little silly and dog-like. His design's okay. If I'm being honest, I don't think the Toy Story designs are like out of this world. I mean, they're good. They're good in like an artistic standard, but to my personal taste, I don't really enjoy it. Bullseye's structure stresses me out whenever he's walking around because I know he has no bones. So I'm gonna put Bullseye in C. He just doesn't stand out to me. I don't have an affinity for those movies or Bullseye. I'm sorry to the Bullseye lovers out there. Next is a horrifying creature. This is Donkey from Shrek 2 as a horse. I'm gonna go ahead and say I do not like the design at all. It scares me. He has people eyes. The people eyes are forward facing. The teeth are still very donkey-like. He scares me. A lot of those designs in Shrek are very uncanny valley, and in this he still is. I know he's a gray horse, so I should like him more. I don't really like Donkey's personality in general. He's that obnoxious side character. I feel like the D tier's kind of lonely, so I'm gonna go ahead and put him there. I just think he scares me. It's the predator eyes. They're like forward facing, and it threatens me, and I don't like it. Another iconic beauty is Twilight Sparkle. Is that her name? Twilight Sparkle from My Little Pony. I haven't seen really any My Little Pony of the modern era. I've seen clips from TikTok. I've seen the Mordecai Twilight Sparkle thing. I was just too old when it came out. Just based on her design, it's fine. I like this styling of My Little Pony as far as like the new 3D stuff to this. I think this is a much preferable look. Her color palette has always stressed me out. I don't like the magenta stripe in her mane. I like the main color. I think her body color's fine. It's just the magenta stripe throws me off. It feels very like Monster High goth girl, which I think a lot of people like, but to me, I'm like, this just doesn't appeal to me. And based on her personality that I've gathered, she's kind of a type A control freak. And I'm also, I mean, I know it's a kid's show, but it's like friendship's not that confusing. But I'm glad she figured it out and got her wings. So I'm gonna put her in, I'm gonna say B. I know it's getting crowded in B, but she's kind of middle of the road for me. I feel like missed the generation with me, so that's probably the biggest problem. Next up is Mr.Horse. Fun fact, as a kid, Ren and Stimpy frightened me a little bit. I was very not into that style. I don't like that style of cartoon where it's like bug out eyes, weird lips, like over exaggeration. It stressed me out as a kid. I was a little overstimulated. But as far as Mr.Horse goes, the character, I liked him. I like his design. I don't like whenever he has like people skin face. They did that a couple times. I don't like that. I don't like when he has human lips. That's just a Ren and Stimpy style. But I like Mr.Horse. I like his comedy. I like his voice acting. I think the gray horse with the star design is cute. I like his not liking it thing. He doesn't like it. I also don't like a lot of things. So I'm gonna go ahead and give Mr.Horse an A. I'm not putting him in S because how dare him? He would never be as good as these other horses. We now have come upon another Disney horse, Philippe from Beauty and the Beast. I like his design. I like the Disney draft horse thing. I think him being a Palomino's cute. I think he is a good guy. He brought Belle back even though he kind of caused the dad situation, but also it's like the dad's fault. He like blames him or something for bringing him to a place that he forced him to go. I don't know. We could play the blame game all day, but at the end of the day, he brought Belle to the castle where she met her furry prince and found her dad. So Philippe's a cool guy. I think he's got a cute personality, but at the same time, I don't think he's a standout. So again, we're gonna get in the crowded B section. Last two. This is Buck from Home on the Range. Buck has a good design. Buck's personality is a lot. He's simping for some guy. He's almost certain that if he goes in is this guy's horse, that his life will be fulfilled. Turns out the guy's a dick, and he realizes his wrongdoing and he helps the cows in the end. I think he's an okay guy. I think his design's all right, but I do think he's kind of, I don't know, he's a lot. I don't love him, but I don't think he's on the level of like C. Again, very crowded B section, I'm sorry. Last but not least, Pegasus from Hercules. Pegasus is a good design. It plays into that Greek styling of hard edges and the mohawk that you'd see drawn on the vases and things like that. The blue and white could kind of like be heroic and very marble-esque. I will say the eyes creep me out. I was like, why does this design kind of creep me out? As a kid, he creeped me out a little bit. It's because the eyes are like blue and his pupils are really small. I'm not gonna fault him too much for that. I like his personality. I thought when he was jealous of Meg as a kid, I was like, dude, fuck off. You're being a lot right now. But overall, I think Pegasus is always saving the day at the last minute. He's definitely the ex machina sometimes. I'm gonna go ahead and put Pegasus in the S tier. I'm gonna go ahead and do it. I just think he's above these guys. I think his design's better. I think his personality is dope. I think him and Hercules are bros. So that is my cartoon horse ranking. We ended up getting pretty crowded in the B. It's really hard to have a strong opinion in these trying times. So I only know one thing. I know who's an S, I know who's basic, and I know that Donkey from Shrek as a horse stresses me out. Let me know if you agree or disagree with my choices in the comments below. Let me know if you'd be interested in seeing something else like this or with the live action horses. Let me know who your favorite cartoon horse is, or if I missed a cartoon horse that you think deserved to be on this list or what their ranking might be. I'd also like to take a moment to thank everyone for watching my last video, leaving so many nice comments, and just overall, it was very nice, especially looking at my old cringe DeviantArt stuff. I just want to say I appreciate it. Thank you. I'd also like to say I have a Patreon if you'd like to support me or my artwork. It is in the description. I'm going to be posting, scans of the sketches and things I do in videos. I'm also going to be posting sketchbook pages that I don't post on my Instagram or other media. This is a place where you could also maybe comment on this post, and that's where you can get information like what art supplies do I use, or asking how I did certain things, and I'm more than happy to answer those questions on my Patreon. So thanks again for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Oh, also, here is the Rocky tax. He was sleeping on my lap the whole time. He's gonna twerk. He's a good guy. Okay, bye.